Am I a real Bitcoiner? Well, whoopsie daisies. That's a good question. Well, I've been investing in Bitcoin since 2017, and yeah, I did mess around a lot with shitcoins, with trading, and I lost a lot of money in 2018 actually. Quite a sum that would have purchased me about 10 Bitcoin when I first got in if I would have just stacked and chilled, DCA'd, or gone all in with the funds that I had surplus to invest in at the time. But that's beside the point. I've read a number of books since then. The Little Bitcoin book was the first one. The Bitcoin Standard was the next one. Then I read, what's it called? Bitcoin Evangelism, which is a cracker by Brian DeMint. And then I read The Big Print by Larry Lepard, which is the latest sort of one that talks about the Fed a lot and the history of money and why it's all a big Ponzi scheme that's bound to implode basically, and how massive money printing isn't going to end. It's going to cause hyperinflation, and it's going to cause a huge supply shock when everybody comes rushing for Bitcoin as the only sovereign store of wealth other than gold, which it has, 7 advantages over. I can go into more detail on that in another episode. But am I a real Bitcoiner? Well, I looked recently, a purist is just going to hold Bitcoin, right? But you got to have a little bit of fun as well. So with a little bit of my side money, I've actually been trading lately and going pretty well. I pulled off a big short. I know it's sacrilegious for Bitcoiners out there, but I pulled off a big short on Bitcoin at the end of the last cycle, sold everything at the top, and got back in at about 62,000. So that was a good maneuver. I stacked a lot of sats by doing that. And now there's some extra funds to invest in this company that's going to help create a network of self-sufficient communities up the east coast of Australia and eventually around the world. And there is a little bit of surplus that went into Bybit. No affiliate links, no paid ads, nothing on this video. But yeah, the Bybit account is flourishing. And I recently went long, all in, with everything in the Bybit account, which is a decent sum now. And I went on a 2.6 times leverage. My liquidation is at 47,000. I do not believe we're going back down there this cycle. I don't think we're likely to hit the 50s again even now. That huge money printing is again underway, unprecedented this time around. New Fed chair, so much going on. It's just, this supply shock is now. I think it's just heading up for the next 3 years at least now, and 200k plus next cycle. So 2.6% leverage, 47k liquidation. I think it's pretty safe. I think it's a pretty unweighted gamble. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is whether a Bitcoin loan is for you. Now these things are becoming really popular. A purist Bitcoiner who believes that, a Bitcoin maxi that believes that Bitcoin is going to take over everything, treasuries, bonds, shares, real estate, as a superior store of wealth, rather than storing our wealth in property, for example, which has so many downsides, maintenance, fees, taxes, etc. People will be storing their Bitcoin, their wealth in Bitcoin in the coming years, more and more, and we're sitting at less than a $2 trillion market cap. And the cash market, the bonds market, the shares, all of these industries that Bitcoin is ripe to disrupt and take the place of gold as well, which is at 28 trillion or something. I haven't even checked lately because it's been bouncing around so much. But all of these, if Bitcoin just replaces gold, we're going to 15x from here, right? So that's just a drop in the ocean though, guys. We haven't even begun yet. If you don't understand Bitcoin, go back, read these books that I've recommended. But the title of this video and where I wanted to get to was, is Bitcoin lending against your Bitcoin for you? Well, here's the rundown. Basically, you've got to put in, you'll get lended 50% of the equity that you put down. There is an Australian company now, they've jumped through numerous hoops to get their Australian Financial Services license and to make sure, get the clearance from the ATO and from the judges and whatnot, that you will not incur a capital gains tax if you invest your Bitcoin and take out a loan against that collateral. These guys are lenders just like banks. The name of that company is Vield, V-I-E-L-D. Johnny and his team there, fantastic. I've just dealt with them. I looked into the option and I did decide in the end that it wasn't for me. Why is it not for me? Well, I don't have a huge capital gains tax at the moment because I just got back in at 62, we're at 77. You know, a little gain there, but not enough to warrant actually pulling everything out. Well, not pulling it out, but loaning against everything, or even a small amount. You know, capital gains, if you hold on to it for more than a year, you're going to get 22.5% if you're in the top tax threshold of 47%. And yeah, for me at the moment, I don't have a huge income at the moment from this year. I haven't held the Bitcoin for over a year. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. I've got that money in Bybit, doubling down on my Bybit. And what I'm thinking is, you know, basically you're going to get a decent interest rate. You know, Bitcoin is going up, as we know, like 40 to 60% on average. It's I can't remember it's like close to 60% over the last 10 years. So really, like, getting the rates that you're going to get there are a bargain by comparison. If it means that you get to keep your Bitcoin exposure, get cash for a house renovation, or to go and put it on the horses or whatever the hell you're into. And basically, at this stage, if it had been like last year, I probably would have regretted it because my Bitcoin would have dropped in price a lot and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to sell, right? But it's a good time. I believe we're near the bottom. And if you've got Bitcoin and you don't want to sell it, and you've got capital gains obligations if you sell it, it's a great option to free up cash for anything that you want. You know what cash does. You guys are smart. So yeah, basically I decided against the Vield option. And what did I opt for? I opted to top up with any additional cash that I had laying around that was going to go back into Bitcoin into this long trade, which I'll keep you posted on. I do think it's going to go quite well. You know, I'm not into huge leverage. I'm not in even stop losses. I just don't think we're going to 46, right? 47,000K this cycle. So I'm really confident that this long trade eventually, even if we have a dip later in the year, according to the 4-year cycle, a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's going to go down to, I believe maybe somewhere in the 50s at the very lowest. You know, that is basically a 20% drop from the previous all-time high, which we've seen on 2 occasions now. We went to 20K, we come back to 16. Previous to that, the same thing. Well, we came back to 14, went to 69, and then went to 16,000K. So based on previous cycles, I don't think we're going any lower than 20% lower than the all-time high from almost 5 years ago at 69,000. That minus 20%, what's that going to be? 56 or something like that. 56 absolute bottom for me. So all these people who are calling for 36 to 45K Bitcoin, I don't think it's going to come personally. I really don't think it's going to come. I think there is too much bullish news coming out. Market structure bill, all of this stuff is going to happen. Also, if you haven't tuned in already, Sean Clark and G'day Bitcoin, I'm doing a mastermind with Sean Clark. It's fantastic. OpenClaw, AI mastery, absolute mastery. You know, if you haven't heard of OpenClaw, it is an AI agent that basically does 90% of your work for you with a little prompt. It gets to know everything about you. It's fantastic. The other pillar being self platform promotion, as I'm starting to do again now. Promoting your own platforms and businesses a lot better, building a personal brand. The third pillar is that you want to stack habits and organize your week, and basically habit stacking and healthy habits and all of this stuff is the third pillar. And the fourth one is he's teamed up with a guy who I haven't met him much yet, so I won't name the company just yet, but fantastic guy who's doing a lot of stuff in the Bitcoin space. If you're wondering, just shoot me an inbox message and I'll give you the name of these guys, but I don't know if they're ready to be promoted just yet. And they are doing Bitcoin self-custody and sovereignty, setting up nodes, coin joins, no KYC Bitcoin. No, I don't know if they're doing that actually, but I would never do that. Actually, I like to pay tax where necessary, and I believe that we should pay tax on the money that we make. So unless you live in a tax-free jurisdiction, then follow the rules of your tax advisory. But yeah, massive shout out to these guys. G'day Bitcoin, Sean's mastermind. There's still a few spots open, 21 spots in total. I think I was number 16 to sign on, so get amongst that. And yeah, Johnny from Vield. Wow, I mean, I'm not being paid for any of these promos, but Johnny, amazing guy. He got on the phone to me personally. He's the CEO and co-founder, and we had a chat for about 45 minutes about the market, about the history of it, about how they're doing this. And it's super rigid-edge, guys. They are not lending out your Bitcoin. They are holding it in a very secure way on your behalf and doing a fantastic job. And yeah, if you want to keep your Bitcoin in play, not pay capital gains tax, and use that money for something special, buy your wife some flowers. She probably deserves it. And it's nice to surprise people with flowers for no reason sometimes, just because. Just go do it. Anyway, that's me out. That's 10 minutes. Yo, yeah, how did we go? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Like, subscribe, and comment, and yeah, all of that stuff. It's going to be brilliant. We're going to do more content on Bitcoin soon. I'm going to do thought about it just now. Let's do a video on the 7 benefits of Bitcoin over gold in the next video. I'll see you guys in a few days. Thank you very much. I love you all, and ciao, ciao. Now.